Teddy Roosevelt 2019 is not monetized. Please like, subscribe, and share so more viewers will see this information.
Our president holds the ultimate public trust. When he betrays that trust and puts himself before country, he endangers the Constitution, he endangers our democracy, and he endangers our national security.
And something called the Emoluments Clause.
The Emoluments Clause.
The Emolument Clause.
The Emoluments Clause.
The Emoluments Clause of the Constitution.
Emoluments.
The Emoluments Clause.
The Emoluments Clause.
An emoluments magnet.
The Emoluments Clause.
The Emoluments Clause.
It's impossible to ignore. Trump and his family are using the presidency for personal gain. They're selling out America. Such blatant corruption is illegal and impeachable. The founding fathers were very clear about this. The president has to work exclusively for the American people, not for personal profit, what they called an emolument.
So, what's the Emoluments Clause? Well, it's in the United States Constitution, so, you know, pretty important. It goes like this. No title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of the Congress, accept of any present emolument, office, or title of any kind whatever from any king, prince, or foreign state. Basically, no one in office of the U.S. government can accept gifts or payments from a foreign state, largely due to corruption, leaders trying to enrich themselves, powerful men abusing their power. And the Founding Fathers ran into this problem early on. When Ben Franklin returned from France after being ambassador for 9 years, King Louis the Letters gave him a portrait of himself set in 408 diamonds. People started wondering if this gift would corrupt him. The founders were worried, as an extravagant gift such as 408 diamonds could potentially influence one's decisions, so they added this clause. Andrew Jackson received a gold medal from Colombian President Simon Bolivar, but Congress determined he could not keep it. Rather than go the standard Andrew Jackson route and just kill somebody about it, he gave the gift up. Martin Van Buren received from the Imam of Muscat 2 Arabian horses, rose oil and rosewater, cashmere shawls, a Persian rug, and a sword. He knew he wasn't allowed to keep these gifts, but Congress did let him sell them and deposit the proceeds into the Treasury. President Trump is a business owner. He's made and lost millions, or allegedly billions, by building hotels and putting his name on stuff. But now that he's the president, this creates an unethical situation for him. Emoluments aren't just gifts like swords and horses. It's a payment of any kind. He is the most powerful man in the world, making decisions that affect Americans and Earthlings in general. And he has hotels all around the world. It is extremely easy for someone to pay him money in order to garner influence. It is extremely easy for the powerful man to get people to pay him and his company, because he's the president. For example, the Kuwaiti embassy regularly holds an event for its National Day at the Four Seasons in Georgetown. After pressure from the Trump Organization, they changed the event to be at the Trump International Hotel in D.C. instead. For another example, a lobbying firm from Saudi Arabia stayed at the Trump Hotel.
Teddy Roosevelt 2019 is a Bernie Sanders supporter who is full on for Tulsi Gabbard 2020. Since Trump's election, I've been very troubled by the idea that the President of the United States owned hotels around the world, and foreign governments were renting floors or conference centers or suites in those hotels, and our president was profiting from that arrangement. And I thought our president's just as corrupt as every president has been since 1963. I was unaware until 2 months ago that President Trump pledged to donate any profit he made from renting a hotel room or a conference room or a suite to a foreign country, any profit he made from a foreign country's government renting from his properties, to our U.S. Treasury. This is an article from ABC News, February 25th, 2019. Last year, Trump org reported $151,000 in profits from foreign governments. And as you scroll down, it said, Trump Organization announced Monday it sent a check for more than $191,000 to the Treasury, a figure it said it reflects its profits from doing business with foreign governments last year. Before his inauguration, then President-elect Donald Trump pledged to donate all profits from foreign government patrons at his hotels and other properties to the Treasury.
Today we delivered more than 850,000 signatures from Americans all across the country demanding that the United States Congress initiate an impeachment investigation now of President Donald Trump based on his ongoing violations of the United States Constitution, both the Foreign Emoluments Clause and the Domestic Emoluments Clause, which the President is violating based on his refusal to fully divest from his business interests. This is just the start of a campaign that we intend to continue to build all across the country. There will be millions more that come forward to demand that the United States Congress do its job. The way to hold a president accountable for violating the United States Constitution is to engage in an impeachment proceeding. And this president is defying the rule of law, he's defying the United States Constitution, and he ought to face an impeachment investigation now.
I was unaware that was occurring. This voluntary donation fulfills our pledge to donate the profits, etc. Basically, President Trump, since he took office, has been careful not to violate the Emoluments Clause. This is why the Democrats' articles of impeachment do not include any claim our president's been violating the Emoluments Clause to our Constitution.
Today is a solemn and sad day. For the third time in a little over a century and a half, the House Judiciary Committee has voted articles of impeachment against the president.
Hey you, it's me. Ever since President Trump became the name of our president, you may have heard a lot about emoluments and something called the Emoluments Clause.
The Emoluments Clause.
The Emolument Clause.
The Emoluments Clause.
It violates the Emoluments Clause.
So, what's the Emoluments Clause? Well, it's in the United States Constitution. It goes like this. No title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of the Congress, accept of any present emolument office or title of any kind whatever from any king, prince, or foreign state. Basically, no one in office of the U.S. government can accept gifts or payments from a foreign state.
The Judiciary Committee will come to order, a quorum being present. Having agreed yesterday to the amendment in the nature of a substitute on articles of impeachment against President Donald J. Trump, the pending business is reporting the resolution favorably to the House. The question now is on Article 1 of the resolution, impeaching President Donald J. Trump for abusing his powers. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Chairman, there are 23 ayes and 17 noes.
The article is agreed to. The question now is on Article 2 of the resolution, impeaching President Donald J. Trump for obstructing Congress. The clerk will call the roll.
What the hell was that?
Teddy Roosevelt 2019 is a Bernie Sanders supporter who is full on for Tulsi Gabbard 2020. Since Trump's election, I've been very troubled by the idea that the President of the United States owned hotels around the world, and foreign governments were renting floors or conference centers or suites in those hotels, and our president was profiting from that arrangement. And I thought our president is just as corrupt as every president has been since 1963. I was unaware until 2 months ago that President Trump pledged to donate any profit he made from renting a hotel room or a conference room or a suite to a foreign country, any profit he made from a foreign country's government renting from his properties, to our U.S. Treasury.